Well, I am very excited to bring on my wonderful wife, Mary, right now. How are you, babe? Thanks for coming on.
Is this your persona on air? This enthusiasm?
It is, yeah. Yeah. Is it real unfamiliar? Yeah.
Like it is off air, right?
Startled me. I'm sorry.
Do you
My
want to say hello to
beautiful,
somebody?
darling wife. There she is. Yeah, that's the on air, Bob.
Lamar, congratulations, full time. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. My wife will not let me go without a job.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm just happy to
She
have
said
you
you got-
around.
She gave me 3 days of retirement. Said, that's it. That's all you can do. You got to go back to
Find
work.
something
So,
to
right.
do.
You can find something to do to keep you out of her hair.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I get tired of hearing Bob talking about why am I always the one doing all the heavy lifting?
Oh, I'll bet.
Glad to have
Oh, is
some
that?
help.
Oh, wait, Mary. Is that his home persona?
Yeah, just like that. That's
Let's
the
move
tone,
along.
too.
Can we move along to why Mary is on the show? All right, please. So,
This is working out better than we thought.
Oh, my goodness.
we had a wonderful vacation. It was like the first in 3 years for us together. We went and Mary ran the whole thing brilliantly. We were in Switzerland and we were in Italy. And one of my favorite things was taking the train from Zurich to Zermatt, where the Matterhorn is. And while we're taking the train, I was noticing on Facebook that people were saying, "Oh, I can't wait to hear what happened to Bob. What calamity happened to Bob along the way? One of Bob's situations." Well, let me tell you what, folks, there was no Bob situation, but there was a Mary situation. Sweetheart, would you like to tell everybody exactly what you did on the Matterhorn?
Well, you were laying kind of low,
Yeah.
trying not to have any situations. So I was looking online and saw where you could jump off the Matterhorn,
Right.
which is the gigantic
Right.
mountain in Zermatt. It's
But
very famous.
You don't just jump off. I mean, it's
You run and paraglide.
you paraglide.
Yeah. hmm
So there's a guy who's kind of running it, but you're on top of him. Is that what it was?
And I was like kind of sitting on his lap. You know how
So-
they do behind you?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, sitting on his lap.
Mhm.
And what is that? Like 6,000 feet up, something like that. The
You said
Matterhorn.
3,000 kilometers. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or meters?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Let's not do math on the show, hon. So you're attached to him.
Yes.
And what happened?
Well, we ran and jumped, and then we were floating. It was amazing. At one point, I even got teary-eyed. It was so beautiful, and you just are in awe. Your mouth is just wide open. and
Seeing
you're
the
just-
mountains and
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in the little town below, and
yeah.
the Matterhorn, and how long it took us to get there, and there's snow and diminishing glaciers. It was very,
Yeah.
very emotional.
Zermatt is a beautiful little town, isn't it?
It was. It was very.
So did you enjoy it? Tell the people.
I did
what
at
happened.
first.
Uh-huh.
It was very beautiful looking around, but as you see in the movies, paragliding, they kind of spin.
Yeah.
And
This
I'm
is
guessing
over the city.
Yes. And I'm
Uh-huh.
guessing because he wanted me to see everything
Yeah.
from every perspective.
Right.
And it was great. And then all of a sudden I started thinking, ooh, something's happening. My chest got really, really hot.
Uh-huh.
And now I did only post the good pictures on Facebook of me
right.
carefree, enjoying the
Yeah.
air in my hair.
Yeah.
But I started feeling nauseous.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, has anyone ever vomited doing this? And he said, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay. And then I wasn't fine. And he said, don't, just hold it. And so I was trying to hold it. And then he said, okay, if you're going to do it to the right, do it to the right. And so
You vomited over the city.
and then he slung his arm to get it off of his arm.
Oh.
Yeah, I threw up on the man, and the man like slinging his arm to get it off of him, and it was an awkward, very quiet ride float down.
Now, as I understand it, you not only threw up on him, but you threw up on the city of
Yeah, but I'm hoping
Zermatt.
nobody got a direct hit, but yes, unfortunately, that's true.
Oh, God.
So
So
you
was
were
it
right over the
just
city.
like
Mhm.
vertigo, Mary? Like you just like your sense of balance got whack? Because you're
I
not
don't know,
really
but there was
prone to that.
There was a Japanese group that went with us, and she came down, and she had a bag that she had had her issue in. So I'm saying it was my guide's he should have given me the bag.
I think so too. Yeah.
He should have prepared me.
Can you imagine sitting in a nice little cafe in this alpine town?
Or the hikers.
Or if you're hiking along and all of a sudden an American vomits on you. And by the way, she has the video where it happens.
That's
You know how
epic. I can't believe you didn't share that. That's legendary.
The Bob and Sheri Podcast.
Lamar had a little adventure you might not know about, Bob.
Oh, really?
Yep. We went camping, went to a big campground down in Myrtle Beach. And so we had rented a golf cart because Carla loves a golf cart and the dog loves a golf cart. And so we're going off with some friends for the day, and we're going to go into the intercoastal waterway on a boat. And they were a member of a boat club down there. And so we spent all afternoon doing that. And so we come back home, and I haven't even got the truck parked. And my neighbor across the street, who has been eyeballing me for the last 3 days and not speaking, but just watching every move, he comes running over and he goes, "Man, I hate to tell you this." When somebody says that, I think maybe they don't hate to tell you. They cannot wait to tell you.
Yeah.
But he says, and he points at the golf cart, and it's crashed. And he said, a guy come by here in a real big camper, and he hit it. And he said, we had to drag it off the back of his camper. It got hooked on the back. And he said he was really upset because he says it was parked out in the road and blah, 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 blah. And he just drove off. He said, if anybody needs me, and he called out his campsite and just drove off. And I'm like, well, man, that's crazy, you know? And so I called the office, and so they sent out the security guard, and the security guard comes out, and he asked us what happened. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, this is what they've told me. And so he goes over there to talk to the guy. Now, this guy had every detail. So the guy goes, I need to can you make a written statement? And the guy goes, oh, no, I don't want to be involved. I'm like, what? I mean, you're the prime witness. Now, you don't want to be involved. Well, about that time, a guy across the other street, he comes over with his little boy. And he says, I saw what happened. And he said, in fact, he said, after he said he was going to his campsite, he said, I followed him down to make sure he wasn't lying so we would know where to find him. Now, this is what happens in the campground. Everybody's watching. Everybody's, are you okay? I said, well, I wasn't here, so I'm okay. But everybody. Yeah. So he says, he says, my son, he had a 7-year-old son. He said, my son got the tag number. And I said, really? He goes, oh, yeah. He said he came up to me after he drove off, and he said, Daddy, I got the tag number of the truck. And he showed me the paper, and where he had wrote down the tag number, he had drew bars across it like jail bars because he was pretty sure this man was going to jail.
I love it.
So then another lady from the other corner comes over, and she goes, I saw the whole thing. And she said, I followed him down there to see if he was at the right place so we could come find him. And she said, I was down there when the security guard come down, and they got in a big fuss about it. And the security guard told him, he said, the guy goes, well, I'm just telling you, it wasn't my fault. And he said, well, I got witness after witness that saw what you did, and you didn't call it in. So this is a hit and run, and the highway patrol is coming. And so the next thing I know, a young guy comes driving up with a brand new golf cart, and he says, is that the wrecked one? I said, yeah. He said, here's your new one. And he drove off. I never heard a word from anything. But it was, oh, yeah. And I'm telling you, the security guard, when he got to us, it was like he was investigating a murder. He goes, you know, this is a hit and run because he didn't stay. It's a hit and run. I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him. And so I told Carl, I said, well, tonight when the volunteer fire department meets, he's going to have a story to tell because he was excited. I mean, buddy, he got his man.
What was the name of the campground? The Good Karen Campground? Because everybody
good Sam. I love it.
Yeah.
I got no complaints because, like I say, I wouldn't have known anything about it. But I mean, and they give you all the directions and everything. But it was hilarious. But yeah,
you know, one thing that you're so right about, Lamar. I used to love when we took the kids to campgrounds. Because everybody is minding everybody else's business in that good way, where they're keeping an eye out on your stuff. And I always felt like that was such a safe environment to have the kids running around in. And I know it would drive you crazy, Bob, to have people minding your business like that. But look how handy it was for Lamar.
Yeah,
That's the best of it. What you described it exactly
best.
right. It was the best of Karens doing that. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. People were saying, that's just wrong, and we need to have how I love justice. He got justice.
I got justice.
It's Bob and Sheri, the podcast.
Lamar, now that you're full time behind the mic, how has your life changed? Being a full time on the mic person on the Bob and Sheri show, what kind of riches have befell you now that you are on?
First off, my wife was very worried about us being together so much. I don't know if y'all can imagine this, but a little bit of me goes a long, long way. And so when she found out it was possible to sequester me in a small room with the door closed so that I could be on air, she went for it. She says, yes, we've got to do that. I tell you what's been amazing to me these days. I never understood how flawless that this operation that you've got going here, it's flawless. I mean, everything just hits exactly when it's supposed to. It is smooth as silk.
Is he being sarcastic?
That's what I was saying. It took 3 days for the sarcasm to kick in. Just 3 days. That sounds about right. Don't you think when you reflect on things like Carla saying to herself, for hours and hours every day he's in that little small room in there and I can do whatever I want. Don't you reflect? I think we had a conversation on it once. Why don't people buy duplexes? Why don't they
live side by
look
side
down the road and live side by side?
That would probably cut the divorce rate by
I think it would.
Because it would. Because here's what's great about work. You're gone all day, and when you come home, the person at home misses you. I haven't seen you all day. I'm so glad to see you. Even the dog has already picked up on this. Day 3, there's no excitement. We wake up, and I'm here. I'm never here when the dog wakes up. Now it's like, what are you doing here? I mean, I'm not getting the love. I'm not getting the love. Now, the duplex idea is a great idea.
The good thing about this job, and I know this because I have a husband who's really glad that I'm locked up in a room most of the day. And I hear Mary in the background talking to Bob sometimes. Not only are you shut up in that room, but you can't come out and no one can come in. It's like a cell.
It's prison.
Yeah. Because when COVID hit and we started working from home, my husband was like, so you're gonna be here. I'm like, well, technically I live here. I'm married to you. Have we met? And he's like, yeah, but you didn't used to be here. I was like, I know, but have you seen the news? Like some things are happening in the world. I have nowhere else to go. And he's like, oh. And I was in my mind, kind of like you, in my mind, I thought, well, won't he be delighted at all the romantic possibilities? The answer is no, he was not.
There's something to be said for not being around all the time. And it's not just with men and women. I was reading about ZZ Top, the Texas rock band. And so they were all traveling on a bus, one of those big, tour buses that you hear about or see. And at one point, the drummer decided to get his own bus, a smaller one. And I forget whether it was Dusty, which one of the guys with the beards. They said, now, when I see him at the next location, I'm glad to see him. Because he hasn't seen him in 24 hours, right? Because he's got his own bus.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that band has been together for so long. I mean, they're like us. The lines between work and everything else are probably so blurry for them.
Blurred, yeah.
They didn't come up. They didn't come up with that saying, "Absence makes the heart grow fonder" for nothing. I mean, that's a real saying, and there's a reason behind that. I mean,
and a real thing. and a real
Yeah,
thing.
it's a real thing.
Well, so your first 3 days are going pretty well. And she enjoyed. Did you have when you finally emerged from your cell? She was glad to see you.
She asked me what I was cooking for dinner.
We're going to take that as a yes.